outside today in the backyard this time. Uh. There we go. All right. So I'm just enjoying the nice weather out here, and it's been cool. I posted something on my Facebook page. If you all are friends with me on Facebook, I did post something because I was thinking about something with the bass players. So I was like, why is it that so many bass players, brothers, don't? A lot of them don't want to deal with the upright, but they typically have a good sound and feel on the electric. And then you have the white guys who will play. They'll learn to play the upright, but they don't a lot of times have the sound and feel. Now, I know that this is like generalizing. I was just thinking about what I've seen regionally in my area, in the DFW area. So it's not a lot of black bass players in this region that play upright. And on the flip side, a lot of the white guys that play upright, their sound is not as good, and the feel is not as good. I'm just being honest from my perspective. So uh, I had a lot of comments and a lot of different musicians, bass players, kind of chime in and talk about the reasons why, because I was asking for understanding. Because so some of the things they were saying that the um, black guys were saying that it's because you can't afford, a lot of them can't afford the upright, and then the upright gigs say if you pay more, then we might get it upright. So they were saying the convenience, the cost, and yeah, so that was it. And then on the flip side, with the white guys playing upright, they don't have um, the background or the experience playing in church or playing a lot of groove music. And I would think now that's more prevalent and popular, you know, pop music, playing top 40 music, but they're playing electric on that kind of stuff. And most of them have probably learned to play, well, had to play upright and in a classical setting, and then had to learn jazz after that. And so what ends up happening, the sound is real thin, and there's no real experience from playing with uh, some musicians or elders, jazz guys who really demand a big, thick sound, or even the type of gigs that allow for stretching and really pushing. So I come from that world. I was just mentioning that my teacher was Alvin Baptiste at Southern University. He taught Branford Marsalis. He taught Wessel Anderson, Reginald Veal, Frank Lacy, a lot of heavy hitters in the jazz industry. And so him and Ellis Marsalis were good buddies growing up. And so there's just a deep, rich history in jazz. And so when I was there, I was around that, and I got a chance to play in New Orleans and play with Mr. Bat, and it was a rich experience. And so what ends up happening um, when you're in these rich experiences and you have experience playing with, you know, real hitting cats, um, and you come back to your local area, and of course, the local guys or the people who come in from college who get a chance to play with you, their experiences aren't as rich as what you know I might have experienced. So I see an opportunity to educate, you know, and it's not a thing where I was posting something to be condescending or to be racist or whatever. I don't know. It wasn't that at all. I was just saying, just sharing my thoughts and wanted to get some more understanding on why the black guys didn't want to deal with the upright. And I wasn't even thinking about the economic part of it. I'm thinking of more so about the music, the concept. Because if you got a concept for something, if you got a vision for something, you just make it happen. You got the guys who are on the East Coast and they carrying their upright on the subway. They walking with their upright. So if there's a will, there's a way. I know some killing upright players, some brothers that are killing. I know killing white guys on the upright. So it's like it's not a race thing. I mean, it's not a color. I don't because it's only one race. It's a human race, and then everything else is cultural experiences or the lack of cultural experiences. So if you're gonna deal with straight ahead jazz, or if you're gonna deal with the just Black American music or music period in America, you got to go back to the roots. You got to deal with the blues. You got to deal with gospel. You got to deal with straight ahead. You need to dig into it. The blues affected rock. You know what I'm saying? So even if you're into rock, you got to go back and deal with the blues. Country music is the white man's blues. But the black roots, the church, and gospel music, all of that rhythm and blues, it is at the base of all the music that you have today. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to be a bass player or saxophone player or drummer, you need to dig into the history, the roots of the music, so that you can be authentic, so that you can be, you can have depth. Don't just uh, be comfortable with your um, regional, local players and their standards. You know what I'm saying? People are comfortable with mediocrity. You know, I'm not one that's like into being mediocre, especially when it comes to music. I got a sound, I got a concept, I got a way that I hear, and so the musicians that play with me, um, I like to push the envelope. I like to explore. Because I look at it like this: when we play, when we have an opportunity to play, that's an opportunity to really leave it all out there on the stage. Like Allen Iverson said, he leaves it all on the basketball court, he used to say. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, these guys, when it came to playing ball and getting out there on that court, they would give their all. And I came from that same type of attitude. But when you have musicians on stage with you that are complacent, or they comfortable, or they're not producing a sound, it can just like it can just kind of pull you back or make you feel like, oh man, I can't really express myself the way I would really like, because they just don't know, they don't understand. And I get it. We all have been in those times, but it it takes you getting your butt kicked. It takes somebody telling you, "Hey, man, your sound was off," or "You need to get your sound together," or "Your feel was just off, your timing was off, your comping was off." Whatever it is, you didn't play the right melody notes. You know what I'm saying? You need to hear that so that you can go and practice and come back and be better. I'm not. I don't come from the generation where we can't take criticism. Like of course, Mr. Baptiste was my teacher. He was tough on us. He would always tell us about ourselves. And then Branford was another mentor. He would always get on me, and I would take it. We go back and forth. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like I'm rebellion, or just trying to defy what he was telling me. I understood where he was coming from. He was challenging me, and so um, I like that, because it was fueling me to keep practicing, pushing, and keep going after it. And so I appreciate that. But now, a lot of times, these younger generations of students, music students, they aren't as tough. A lot of them feelings get hurt. You know, when you tell them about themselves, or you say something. So it's strange, because now economically, players can get away with not sounding all that great and still make money, make the cut. And as long as they looking the part, and smiling, and being business minded with people and networking, they get gigs, they get opportunities, and they don't sound good, but they got the opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough, because cats find that sweet spot, and they realize, oh man, I don't have to practice, I don't have to sound my best. You know what I'm saying? I just have to sound good enough, and I can get gigs. And some cats, they're cool with that, but I just don't come from that school of thought. you know um, I wanted to sound. I had a certain standard of excellence on the saxophone, with my sound, with my band. And so that same standard of excellence, even if it's not like spoken, it's implied when I play, and when people play with me. You know what I'm saying? It makes it fun when everybody's kind of aiming at the same goal. We're not all at the same level, a lot of times when I'm playing with certain musicians. But just long as you have the attitude and the eagerness to learn, like, you can feel that energy, and we're reaching, we're going for something, we're going somewhere. So that's my perspective on it. I just wanted to uh, talk about this and put it out there, and generate conversation in different communities, whether you're in school, whether you're out of school, you're on the gig. Talk about this stuff, because we can make our musical communities better when cats are sounding better, and when cats who really got that thing in one area, whether it's like the gospel musicians, and then if you start learning straight ahead and learning the language of that, man, it'll make your playing just that much more killing. I'm talking about drummers, saxophonists. If you would actually broaden your perspective and go into other environments, it will help you. It'll challenge you. Like, even for me, going to tech and studying classical music, man, when I studied classical and I was playing those pieces, man, my chops was on 10. I mean, I was killing. Like, my range, I was just killing on this thing. Of course, I hadn't been practicing the classical music, so I've kind of shrunk. I've kind of shrunk now, but just going through that, it stretched me, it challenged me, it made me better. And that's the whole point: is to keep allowing yourself to be challenged, learn from other cultures outside of your immediate culture, because it can only make you better. It can only enhance your own voice. And this goes into what I'm gonna be talking about coming up on the 29th. So workshop.texastenoracademy.com. I'm going to be doing a workshop in person, and if you're not local, you can join me uh, via Zoom. We're going to record it, have it going with through Zoom, so you'll be able to check it out. We're going to be at Bandwagon Music Store and Repair in Fort Worth, 6:30 p.m. And we're going to deal with um, what goes into developing your sound on your instrument. I'm gonna talk about that. Okay, so I'm excited about that, and I wanted to take some time to share and enjoy this outside weather here. And that's it for now. All right, we'll see you later.